What's up, guys? It's Alex here, back for another Heroes 3 battle guide. And in this one, we are going to be following up our tier 6 dwelling tier list by actually demonstrating how to take tier 6 dwellings with each faction. So let's just go ahead and get into this. This one, so first we're going to start with the Altar of Thought. For the Altar of Thought, obviously, you can do these with Luna on Firewall, but I recommend, well, this technique, I'm just going to demonstrate how to do it with just your day 1 army, and I recommend that you use only air elementals, that you use a warrior hero, and that you have Bless. Those 3 things, and then you can just bring 2 Pixie 1 stacks. And also, you want to have enough spell power so that your Bless lasts a few rounds, or if you cast it twice, at least for 2 rounds, I would say. So first what we do is we bring the Pixie forward to entice these guys to move forward themselves, like this. Then we can go ahead and take Retaliation with this Pixie 1 stack. And now we bless our air elementals, and we just brawl them down. So the reason this works is because the air elementals are mind spell immune, so the psychic elementals only do 50% damage to them. So for that reason, this is relatively easy. You still do lose a few air elementals this way, but you gain the psychic elementals. So in most cases, I would say this is worth it. Of course, you can also do this with other army if you have it, but you gotta watch out for the no retaliation, and you gotta watch out for the multi-directional attack of the psychic elementals. So for that reason, to minimize your losses, I would actually do it like this. Alright, now let's do the Hall of Darkness with Necro. So for this, I mean, even auto combat can do this relatively easy. You are going to be losing some skeletons, but it's not going to be that bad. So all we do here is protect our skeletons, get these guys to come forward, then we take Retaliation and hit with everything. You can cast Shield if you want to try to minimize your power stack losses here. Actually, you went for 1 stack. Interesting. So there we go, only 15 skeletons lost. Well, same as auto combat, actually. But I would say relatively acceptable losses in this case, especially if you have a couple of Black Knight dwellings, because Black Knights are really good. Alright, let's move on. Alright, so now we're going to be doing the Cavalier dwelling. Cavalier dwelling is a little bit risky. You could potentially die to morale on round 1. So a couple of these are going to be risky. So if you can help it, if you can find an anti-morale artifact, that would really help you here. It will help you not die, because if the Cavalier's morale and they just move forward and block your archers, then you're kind of screwed. See, so right there, they didn't get morale, but if they did, we would have been screwed, so. If you can help it, try to find an anti-morale artifact. Okay, but that went smoothly. So yeah, I mean, basically you just cover your archers and shoot down the Cavaliers. But yes, be mindful of the chance for morale. Alright, for the Cyclop cave, this is pretty easy. All you really want to do is, you don't even have to do it like this. But we're utilizing kind of a similar technique as we did in the Behemoth Crag, just in case we don't do enough damage to actually one-shot them on round 2. So we bring a 1 stack of Wolf Raiders so that if we need to, we can take Retaliation from these guys on round 2. And then we just bring Goblin 1 stacks. So basically round 1, you just want to wait with the Wolf Raiders. With the Goblins, you take Retaliation, and then block them with 2 of them. This way, you will actually protect against morale as well. Okay, they didn't even morale. And now we just attack them. So now we only have 2 of them left, so we actually don't have to sacrifice this Wolf Raider. But if for whatever reason we had the lower attack, or we rolled lower damage, or maybe we had a lower number of Wolf Raiders, then we could just take Retaliation with this Wolf Raider stack and then finish with these guys without taking any damage back. But in this case, we can just wait with the 1 stack and then hit them, and we just one-shot the 2 stack. And that's it. Easy as that. Okay, so for the Fire Lake, you are going to be doing, well, you know, usually people start with Kalth. You can start with Ignatus, of course, so it would be slightly different then. But with a Fire Lake, if you're doing it on Kalth, you are going to be vulnerable to morale as well. And you also got to be careful because the Ifrit are fire immune, so they're immune to the fireball attack of the Magog. So you have to shoot them with the projectile. So just be mindful of that. And the way you take these is kind of the same as you do the Devil Dwelling. So you make 3 2 stacks of imps and 3 1 stacks of imps. And I also recommend that you guys actually have expert archery, but this is doable with just advanced archery as well. Just, you will be more vulnerable because with advanced archery, you just have enough shots to kill them. If you have expert, you can also, you know, outplay morale in, you know, if it's not a round 1 morale. Because you'll be doing more damage and you'll be able to kill them quicker than it can actually close the gap here. So see, they move forward, and we just need to make sure that we shoot the Ifrit like this. Like, if I shot them like this, for example, they would not get hurt, right? So we have to shoot them with a projectile. And we'll ignore our own morale just to show you guys that this is possible without getting morale. And here, just make sure that you have your imps kind of far enough away from each other so that if the Ifrit, like for example right here, this is a bad positioning because the Ifrit can actually go and attack one of these, and then we would end up killing our own imps with the fireball attack because we have to shoot the Ifrit directly. So just make sure they're at least all 2 hexes away from each other. So that way, if the Ifrit attack one of them, they still have the extra hex between them and the other imps, so that when you shoot the Ifrit directly, you don't actually affect your own imps with a fireball cloud. So see, if this imp was still here and I was shooting like that, I would kill it, and that would mess up this entire thing. Right, and these guys just def. Again, we got morale, but we'll ignore it. And here you see, so because we are not doing that much damage, if they moraled on any of the turns besides turn 1, we also would have been screwed here. So for that reason, I do recommend that you guys actually have expert archery so that you do more damage to these guys. Alright, and here we can actually save this imp 1 stack. We don't even need to shoot them like this. We can wait and move the imps away and then shoot. So this way we saved 1 imp. Alright, and there you guys have it. Alright, now let's go for the Golden Pavilion. So Golden Pavilion you can really do on a hero of any hero. You don't really need a warrior hero, but again, you would be vulnerable to morale here if you don't have tactics. So I would actually recommend to either have an anti-morale artifact or to have tactics. And here what we would do is we would just give them the gargoyles to attack. kind of like this, so that they stay within range of the accurate shot, and that they're still not so close so that they can morale into our other stacks here. Right, and here we can actually kite them back so that we get a couple more unanswered shots. Let's ignore morale, pretend it didn't happen. Again, pretend it didn't happen. And here, once again, we can move the gargoyles forward. That way, the Nagas are actually not going to reach our gremlins, even if they morale next turn. And same thing here. Boom. Alright, easy as that. And of course, this is even easier if you're using them using a warrior hero that actually has battle stats. And like I said, tactics and anti-morale does help you here. Alright, now we're going to do the Manticore dwelling with dungeon. And this one is probably one of the easiest, probably one of my favorites, just because it's risk-free. And with Manticores, you know, you can always portal them, you can build them in your town, so they're not so bad. Even though the Manticores themselves are kind of weak as far as level 6 creatures go, I do kind of like these dwellings. A lot of people dislike them, but I'm okay with them. Alright, so turn 1, we're actually just gonna, you know, kind of turtle like this, and we're gonna skip our turn. Unless the Manticores morale. If they morale, then we can take retaliation and fight them. Alright, so now all we do is just take retaliation and attack them. Now, you will be losing some troglodytes here, but it won't be that bad. And what you can do is you can actually bring out other meat, like whatever secondary hero you got in the tavern, to entice them to actually attack that secondary meat and not the troglodytes. But, you know, I like kind of doing it this way because you may need to conserve that meat for hives or something like that. So, you know, I just take a couple of hits with the troglodytes and that's it. And now we don't even necessarily need to take retaliation because the trogs will finish. Yep. So 15 trogs lost, I would say it's more or less acceptable. Also, if you don't want to use Harpy 1 stacks, you can just use Troglodyte 1 stacks as well. Alright, so the Nyx Fort is another interesting one. I do like it. Again, we just bring our day 1 army as we do for most of these. And the technique here is going to be strike and retreat. So we just turtle, protect against morale. And then we're just going to attack round 2. Move these nymphs away. And this Oceanid 1 stack is going to bait these guys to come back, because everybody else is going to be out of range. Okay. And like this, also, I think we should be protected against morale as well. Speed 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, we're fine. So once again, we can just wait. Strike. And at this point, we don't have to hit and retreat. We can just kill them with the Oceanid, and we don't even need to take retaliation again. But if you're, you know, if your Oceanid stack is a bit lower for whatever reason, maybe you got Derek as you're a secondary hero in the tavern, you can just repeat the kind of baiting them back and then strike, moving away and then striking them. Easy. And now we just have the Unicorn Glade. So Unicorn Glade, another one that you're going to be vulnerable to morale in. So again, if you can do this on with an anti-morale artifact, it helps. You're going to be doing these on day 2 usually, or maybe even later, depending on what your build is going to be. If you go for upgraded centaurs, I do recommend that you guys have upgraded elves before you do these. So again, we are vulnerable to morale, so be mindful of that. We're going to wait with the elves, and then we're just going to cover with the centaurs here. We'll just shoot as much as we possibly can. So even there, we were slightly vulnerable to morale, but we would not have died. But seems like we've been pretty lucky with morales in this demonstration. Hopefully that doesn't mean that I'll get unlucky with morales in my real games. And the last one we've got is the Wyvern dwelling. So this one you don't even need upgraded gnolls for, because the Wyvern are going to outspeed you anyway. And I do like to bring the Lizardmen with me as well, so that hopefully the Wyvern actually get enticed to attack the Lizardmen rather than the gnolls when they do close the gap. Well, they did attack the gnolls, but actually, let me try to replay this. Maybe if I do it slightly differently. Okay guys, and the last one is going to be the Wyvern nest, and here we're just going to be bringing our regular gnolls, and I do like to bring Lizardmen so that hopefully, you know, maybe we'll entice the Wyvern to actually attack them rather than the gnolls, so we'll see. No, it looks like they just want to attack the gnolls anyway. Well, yeah, so usually that's kind of how it goes. You do lose some gnolls, but 14 gnolls lost for the getting 2 Wyvern is usually really good, especially since you can build them, and especially since that synergizes with the hives that you can take as well. And as Fortress, you can also get Wyvern Monarchs, so that's usually really good. Alright guys, so that's it for this demonstration. I hope that you guys learned something. I hope you find this useful and can apply this in your actual games and it helps you. So, thank you guys for watching once again, and if you guys want to check out more Heroes 3 English-speaking content, do check out my Twitch stream in the video description below. And that's it. So, thank you guys once again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.